Good morning. I woke up this morning and I've been doing research for the last 4 or 5 days. A lot of thinking, a lot have been going on, and this morning I decided to wake up and go ahead and make part 9 video. So about 2 weeks ago, I went on a trip to Texas with my movement, Flex Gang Enterprise, the crew, 5 by crew, and did my Gerson therapy out there. As I was out there, I had to get a room with the kitchen so that I could do my therapy and juice. And I did my therapy a little bit more than usual because I knew that I would be up and out a little bit more than usual. And so it kept me pretty much balanced throughout the trip. I even made it home with no problems. But when I got home, I was scheduled to go do a lot of errands and appointments because my Medi-Cal and income, everything was just basically had stopped. I had no source of income or anything, so it was at a point where I had to go ahead and get my stuff done. So it was no more waiting, because if I had waited any longer, I might not even make it to the doctor the next time I really needed to go. So I had planned on having someone coming over to help me, but due to whatever reasons, the person at the last minute bailed out on me, and I couldn't bail out on myself. And so I still had to go through with my plans for getting things together and getting things done. The struggle that I knew that was going to come with that was doing therapy. The kids were back in school, and there was no one there to help me with my therapy. So I had to go run and do all of my errands all day, then come home and do my therapy, then go pick up the kids, then come back and do my therapy, then cook dinner. All this is happening, and it's taken till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning for the whole cycle of the day, getting up in the morning, getting dressed, getting the boys to school, then spending the afternoon running, doing my social services and whatever have you, appointments that I have to run and do. And so by Saturday, I had gotten really sick, but by the end of this week, I had gotten really sick, and things sort of kind of took a turn for the worse once again. And I was just distraught and feeling like everything was for nothing, and maybe I did something wrong and I screwed up and I messed up. I was just blaming myself on so many different levels for what I was experiencing and what I felt like was regression. But, some diseases do have relapse and remission. So maybe I was misinterpreting the remission stages with my Gerson therapy as like all the way feeling better. And so when it came back, relapsed, it was just like depressing to me how it came back. But I would it all happened for a reason. When I got to Texas, I didn't have enough medicine. So what I had started doing to help me deal with the pain during my therapy, because a lot of people do this therapy, but they don't experience what I experienced during the therapy. I have like a 2-hour therapy where I just have constant burning, aching, agonizing pain in my digestive tract, and it can be felt throughout my back, and it lasts for hours. And so I remember a stepsister of mine having the disease, believing to have the same disease, and she was pregnant and couldn't use certain drugs, and so she was hot water bathing. And so I decided to try to jump in the hot water out of desperation, and it worked. Took a few minutes. If you lay there long enough, the whatever was going on started to subside. And so I had started doing my therapy and jumping in the hot water. So I would do my therapy and hold it for the 15 minutes, get out what I could get out, and jump in the hot water, and then come back and backwash. And so that's what I was doing. And so it was taking a lot longer because now I had to hop in the hot water to stop it. And then I was taking a lot more baths. And so in the last video, actually, you can see after my therapy, I was it wrapped around in a towel. I always have to take my bath at that same time. And so this last week, I have been doing it, and it just didn't seem like it was easing up. And I would remember before, as I got to a certain point, it started to ease up. And I was like, okay, I'm past that point. So what could actually be causing it to be this horrible or this torturous once again? And so I just began to start doing more research. And I don't know if I got sick, ill, or got a cold, or I don't know what happened. But one morning I woke up Sunday, this recent Sunday, I don't know what that was, like the 20-something of March, 27th or 28th of March, 2016. And I had a mass all over my chest here. And when I started to massage it out, I put a lot of pressure on it because it was really thick. It started to break up, and it had a lot of fluid in it. And I had rubbed it for a little while and had broken it up pretty good. But I was tired, and I had fell asleep and taken a nap. And I remember thinking as I was going to sleep, I wonder if it'll recombine or coagulate when I wake back up. So I woke up, and the lump had recombined, and then it got to one big spot. And so I went to try to rub it, but it was so fat that you could not press down on it because you could not get inside. So I went around to try to feel from the side, and underneath my underarm there was a huge mass, and I started to rub it out. And as I started to rub it out, it went 4 inches deep into my axillary, and actually all the way down to here. And another thing I noticed is that the long cord that I showed you that I got mostly out, that stretch, it attaches to my breast and attaches at my nipple. So that was strange. The next day, I had a theory. I hypothesized that those same lumps or nodules could be possible, or could possibly be in other soft spots in my body. So I reached under my other arm, and yes, there are knots inside of there. The next soft spot I would initially thought of was my abdomen, but I was too afraid to go for my abdomen because that's where I've been having the bulk of my problems with the nausea, the vomiting, the indigestion, the severe gas, the constipation, the just everything just going crazy there. So I was just like, that's not the place I want to go next. So the next place I went actually was to my groin. And in both groins, there was hundreds, maybe thousands of knots there as well. So what I did after that is I did my therapy, and I was in the tub. And I was lying there, and for some reason, I decided to check for knots in my stomach. And when I checked in my stomach, there's hundreds. Huge ones, little ones, all size ones. I busted maybe 30. And I felt something squish and gush out. And at the bottom, in the middle, they had a very hard knuckle. Same characteristics as the ones that I kind of felt in my shoulder. As I rubbed those out, they were all in a sack, and they had a knuckle that you had to get out. So I started rubbing those out, except that I got scared because something was coming out of them, and I didn't know if I was busting loops, if I was busting tumors, if I was letting poison out in me, if I was busting my bowels, if I was busting lymph nodes. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I'm crazy at this point. I'm just going to be honest. I'm dying in my head. I'm dying. So at this point, no matter what I do, you know what I'm saying? It's worth a try. So I bust those knots, and I decided to bust the ones that I felt were on spots that caused me pain during my therapy, when I had to use the restroom, just whenever I would have an attack. Now I'm not going to call them attacks anymore. I'm going to call them flare-ups. So I busted a bunch, and the ones that I busted off of those certain spots, then I did my therapy again shortly after, and the ones that I busted off of those certain spots, I didn't have pain in those spots anymore. The video's getting close to the end. I got about 2 or 3 minutes to hurry up and spew out what I'm going to spew out. If not, I'm going to have to come back with another video. I busted those knots. The next day, woke up, found more knots. Did I find more knots? No, I went to found more knots. I started researching arthritis because I knew that I had nodules everywhere. So I started doing research, and I came with 2 possible diagnoses. One was multiple sclerosis, one was arthritis. Now, because I was dealing with the nodules all over me, and the something systemic definitely was already going on. So I came up with rheumatoid arthritis or multiple sclerosis. I started to do an inspection on my joints now. When I started to do the inspection on my hands, my joints were severely deformed. I had knots all over my joints, all over my hands. They were small, some of them were big, but they hadn't grown big enough to cause deformity yet. So I had made a self-diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis. That was my decision. That was it. I went the next day, decided I was going to start getting massages and started getting help with getting these knots out because it takes forever to get them out. I was wondering, should I even be busting these knots? Then I wake up today and my back, every time I have like an attack now, I have this bad aching, burning sensation in my back. And I have my brother or my son come and rub my back and rub it. So today I said, hey, check back there for one of those damn knots. I'm starting to think this has something to do with that. So he checked, and it's real soft because it feels like a damn muscle. But eventually he finds one knot. And we get that knot, break it up, and it turns out there's hundreds of knots in my back, hiding under my scapula. My son sees 2 moles together, and through the mole he sees a thick like rope. And this knot is not a knot. It's like a rope, thick, going through my back, all around, and it's leading back up to the one in my breast. A similar ones on my right side. When I busted the ones in my abdomen, they were along a rope line. And I busted the ones along each rope line, and that whole transmission seemed to stop hurting all the way up that line, and I broke a part in that line as well. Then I decided after that to go check my neck. I checked my neck. I found finger-like projections in my neck, at least this long. I had to rub them out. I couldn't get them all the way out there, about nubs left, sticking out into the tissues in my neck, into my throat box. There's so much more. So I found those, and I said, wait, before I finish rubbing those out, let me keep going. Went up my neck. I found a bunch of hard spots that I thought, well, if you can see it, this was a hard spot I rubbed out. Now on this side, you cannot see or not, but this one's still hard. That's not bone. This is not muscle. This is not muscle. This is a knot in my neck. I decided if they're in my neck, they're in my head. Went to check the base of my neck. Oh my God. All around the base of my neck. So I started rubbing up the base of my neck. They're all over my skull. So I started to find the research if rheumatoid arthritis could be parasitic. When I went to go look it up, I found this condition of polyarthritis that comes from a parasite called the strongyloidiasis disease. It's a parasite that goes into your body. It gets systemic. It lives in you, and it acts like arthritis. It flares up. It causes all these different problems. I don't know where I'm on to or what I'm on to, but I know it's very contagious disease. It can be spread very easily. A lot of people may be suffering from it. I'm going to start my body for flushing this thing out right now. I'm in a hyperinfection phase, which is why they're all over my body, hands, feet, everywhere. I mean, they're everywhere. So I'm going to end this video right here, and I'll come back and talk more about this next time. So I guess we finding out more about how much I'm not dealing with CVS. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Be back.